Hey, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Brooke Miller. She is a psychotherapist and a coach over in the Portland, Oregon area. And we were in conversation this morning and we were discussing the power of our mind and how our mindset can truly catapult us into the healing process and make us very successful in healing from our illnesses, or it can literally keep us sick and not allow our bodies to heal. And it can, you guys hear me talk about this all the time, it can actually inhibit proper genetic expression. It can change your biochemistry and your physiology in your body. And Brooke started sharing with me a study from Harvard, and I was just so excited about this that I told her we have to get on a call. We've got to record this and we got to share it with everybody. So, welcome, Brooke. Thank you for jumping on this video call with me today.
Yes, I'm so excited, Elena. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you. I'm so glad that in the process of our conversation this morning that I was reminded of this study, because I heard about this about 6 months ago and, kind of fell off the radar, but it's so important to the work you do, the work I do with people. It's huge. So basically this study was done. It was actually Stanford. Different
Stanford, gotcha.
West Coast, yeah. So it was a Stanford University study that was done late last year, and it was looking at the effect when we get genetic testing done, what the impact of that is on our mindset and how that impacts our body. So I'm going to do a little reading, because this article here, which I will share with you, the link, really says it so succinctly, and I don't want to miss anything. So basically, this study took over 200 research participants. Okay, it's a pretty big study. They gave them, they did the genetic testing on all of them, and they did treadmill test with them, and they gave them a meal. Okay, so half of them had the meal, the others half performed the exercise test. And after the meal, the researchers measured the molecules in the blood that register fullness, okay, which is a satiety signal, which is a cue to stop eating, which protects against obesity. And what the researchers found was that the information alone changed how people performed. People who went on the treadmill were told that they had a problem with, they had a lower capacity for exercise. Okay, it was going to be harder for them to exercise.
Okay.
So those who were told they had a version of the gene that made them less prone to obesity, after they were given the false genetic information, they actually performed better after the second meal. So yes, they're told that they're less prone to obesity, their bodies register fullness earlier on, and what they found was, I'm getting chills, their bodies produce 2.5 times more of the fullness hormone once they had this information, this false information, when compared to the fullness hormone that their bodies released before they were given that false genetic information.
So basically what you're saying is once they adapted that belief,
yeah,
that their metabolism, or not the metabolism, but that they could feel full faster, right? That they were actually able to measure using objective data. They were actually able to measure a physiological change in the body just based off of what they heard and what they decided to believe.
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible. Yeah.
I know. And then, and the people who were told they were genetically prone to obesity saw little or no change in how they felt, okay? That's the control group. So by contrast, the people who had a gene who were told that they had a gene that made them respond poorly to exercise, they went on to do much worse
Wow.
on the treadmill test, okay?
Wow.
Their lung capacity was reduced. They were less efficient at removing carbon dioxide, and they quit the test sooner.
That's absolutely incredible. So in contrast, the other group, the doctors or the researchers told them that they had a harder time basically with their metabolism because of their genes.
Yes.
And when they adopted that negative self-limiting belief, it actually changed their physiology, and it indeed did slow their metabolism down. That's like so powerful.
Right.
That gives me chills too.
Right. So the people who were told they had a protective factor against obesity actually manifested that instantly. And the people who were told they had a lower capacity for exercise manifested that. So positive information and negative information both manifested and showed up on a physiological level. So the implications there are huge. I've always known this to be true regarding all the clients I've worked with depression and anxiety over the years. So many people come to me, one of the first questions I ask in any assessment is, is there a family history of mental illness or depression or anxiety, even undiagnosed? And, usually there's some kind of link there. But it's not just the genetic predisposition, it's the modeling, right? If you see mom worrying and expressing that worry, and if scarcity around money is expressed constantly, or if someone's in bed for days and weeks at a time and not functioning, this shows us when we're growing up and we're creating our mindset. This shows us how I function in the world, how I deal with stress, how I cope. Right? Do I shut down, or am I able to, move forward? And what we tell ourselves has a great impact. And we're not even aware of what we're telling ourselves most of the time.
That's so true. I feel like a really big part of taking my clients on that journey to help them change their physiology and rebalance their brain chemistry has to do with mindset and even becoming aware of what your thoughts are. So many of our clients, right, yours and mine, they're in this loop of negative thinking that keeps them in fight or flight, where they have suicide ideation and all these bad things are happening to them. And they're just, and they're so focused on their fears, but they're not conscious that they actually have control over those types of thoughts. They haven't developed that consciousness yet. And so, if we can get them to put the brakes on and go, oh my gosh, hey, you know what? I think that Brooke and Dr. V, they might be right. I'm wearing foggy lenses here, for how many years? Like 20 years, 30 years, I'm wearing these foggy lenses. And everything that I think is true is not true. And I have the power to change that with my mind, with controlling my thoughts and being more conscious of them, that I can actually take the glasses off and I can take off the fog and put them back on and start seeing things differently. Like if we can get people to understand that simple but so powerful concept, that is going to be what's going to actually help them make the change. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but when you start doing it every day, and then you start looking back at that past week, and then that past month, and you start looking back over that year that you did that, that's when you connect the dots and you can see yourself in a completely different place than where you were before you started. Making a conscious effort to become more aware of your thoughts.
Yes, it really is the shift from autopilot living to conscious living. And that first step is becoming aware of our thoughts. Just becoming aware of our thoughts, tuning in. We're so tuned out most of the time. We're so in reactive mode on that treadmill, just we're reacting to the day and all of the things that come along. But we really can shift. We have so much more power than we realize. And even, so CBT and mindfulness are two of my favorite modalities that I work with myself as well as my clients, and that's what it's all about, is being consciously aware, making conscious choices, and making that shift, that pivot when we recognize we're on the downward spiral. How do I reverse the spiral? But what that takes too, along with awareness, is being kind to ourselves, having some compassion and patience. Because look at how many years it's taken to get to this place where we're just, feeding ourselves negativity all day long. So we have to be patient. There's no finish line here. This is a lifelong practice. But if we start today, celebrate those tiny victories like we were talking about earlier, look for the positives, then we do, over time, we can reprogram our minds.
That's so true. That is just so powerful. I am just so excited that we decided to share this with people today. We should do a little bit of this more.
Do more of this. I'm totally in. I'm all in.
Awesome. We can figure out how to Facebook live stream this at some point. But for now, this is like such a powerful message. I'll definitely get this posted up for everyone to see.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic Friday.
Thanks. You too, Elena. So good to see you. And I'm so happy to share this information. I'll share that link with you. That is sort of, it's a nice article about the study. It's not the study itself, so it's easy to read.
That's so perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.